We welcome you. Thank you for coming. At this time, we would ask you to please stand for prayer invocation by Reverend Williams, or remain standing for our place to the flag.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we pause within the quiet recesses of our most inner being once again to return humble and sincere thanks for all our blessings of understanding, forgiveness, and divine mercy. Grant us genuine fortitude that takes love as its companion and marches straight forwardly into the governance and will guarantee all our citizens of the city benefit of everything they so rightfully deserve. Help us to be unprejudiced, impartial, sensitive to the needs of especially the poor, the elderly, the middle class, and the rich. Grant that we, as mayor and council, can come to agreement in spite of our differences that will be in the best interest of all the citizens of Goldsboro. Bless our president and vice president of this great nation, and bless all our employees, all elected officials, and the people of this great city. This we ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May you see it. We're going to ask our dutiful clerk to have a roll call for us.
Mayor King.
Here.
Mayor Allen.
Here.
Councilman Perkins.
Here.
Councilmember Waller.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. We're all here. We have minutes of our retreat of February 14th and 15th, 12.
Move to adopt.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. We have some presentations, quite a few, but before we get there, we do have a public comment period. Anyone who would like to take up to 3 minutes to address this group, we'd be glad to hear from you.
Henry Jeanette, 512 North Jackson Street, Goldsboro, NC. You have my card on your desk. Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. The Veterans Coalition of Wayne County have asked me to congratulate the mayor for his rare attendance at the Memorial Day service last Monday. Business North Carolina magazine wishes me to congratulate the city of Goldsboro as the only city in our state now with its population growth in reverse gear. The Goldsboro taxpayers do not wish to congratulate the mayor and city council for squandering millions of dollars. Thank you.
I would comment, but I won't. Anybody else like to comment? Make a comment at this time. Seeing none, we will move from our comment period and we'll go to presentations. And we have first on the list Colonel Keith Acri, 14th Fighter Squadron. Colonel Akers.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting me out, and thank you, City Council members, for hearing me. I've got two good news stories to share tonight, and then I'll end with a request for some support, not financial. You don't need to get nervous, but more for guidance and then and moral support. The first good news story is the 414th Fighter Group. You've probably never heard of it. I'm the commander. We just got activated 2 years ago. And while you've probably heard of the 916th Air Refueling Wing, and you've probably heard of the 4th Fighter Wing, we're new, and our job is to partner with the 4th Fighter Wing in their formal training unit mission. So I'm hiring, I'm recruiting as fast as I can, talented instructor pilots, talented maintainers, to go out and partner with the 4th Fighter Wing out on the flight line. Our demographic is about 250 total, and about a little over a third of those will be full-timers. And as you know, reservists become entrenched in the community because we're not on the normal active duty assignment cycle. So buy homes, get involved in the community, register to vote. Did I mention that we vote? Just kidding. But anyway, hopefully it'll have not just an economic positive impact on the community, but also a sense of fellowship, and that everyone will partner together. And I know that Goldsboro loves Seymour Johnson, and I'm really proud to be the commander of this new endeavor. And did I mention that we vote too? Okay, the next good news item is youth lacrosse is exploding all over the country. And my son has got involved in youth lacrosse in Virginia, and we moved down here a year ago, and there's no youth lacrosse in Goldsboro. So we ended up driving to Greenville to be part of a team that's in the East Carolina Youth Lacrosse League. And they've got teams in Greenville, New Bern, Havelock, and Onslow. And the next optimal target for expansion is right here in Goldsboro. And so I've been working with the East Carolina Youth Lacrosse League. You might have seen that they held a one-day tournament here to start stirring up some interest. And right now the next planned event is July 11th through the 14th at Fairview in the evening, 5:30 to 8. And I don't think there's a cost associated with it. And I have not spoken directly with Russell Stevens, who I believe is the Recreation and Parks Manager. I think he's the one working on getting us Fairview as a venue for this clinic. And the target youth is 2nd through 7th graders. So here's the shameless appeal for support, non-financial, is that if y'all would just help me get the word out. And then if you have any guidance for me on, hey, Colonel Ector, here's how you go about getting that word out and getting support and getting the right kind of relationships built.
Well, you made a good start already with this presentation here. So our Parks and Recreation people, they're already working with you?
Well, I've been on an email trail that Russell Stevens has been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
He and I've tried to call him without success, and that's been the limit of it. So there's kind of been some third party. I believe he's been talking to the East Carolina Youth Lacrosse League. Jason Edwards has been the POC for starting teams. So.
Very good. We will get with Parks and Recreation people, and they will get with you. We fully support what you're trying to do.
Okay, great.
I'm familiar with lacrosse. My son played lacrosse at the Air Force Academy. So it's great sport.
It's a great sport. My son loves it, and it's just one more thing that'll make the community more vibrant, more attractive, and also give our kids an alternative to getting into trouble. So appreciate your support.
What grades, Colonel?
2nd through 7th, but it's not limited to that. It actually, a full-blown league goes up through U18. You know, but you have to grow them young so that they have the skills to play at that level.
Yeah.
Well, I suggest you get in touch with the boys club and girls club, and I suggest that you'd go to the public schools too, and all your private schools. I would let them know.
Mm-hmm.
That you'd be surprised how many young kids would be interested.
Great ideas.
I'd be
thanks.
glad to help you if I could.
Okay. And you know, the 2nd through 7th is only for this one 3-day tournament or clinic. So the actual league will be open. You know, it'll be, let's see who gets registered, and we'll see if we have enough players.
Sure.
And the team that my son played on in Greenville only had 10 players. So every child played the whole game. Normally you have you know, probably 16, so you can sub in midfielders and give them a break. So you can, no kidding, start a team with as few as 10 players. Really, you can go down to 7 if the other team will agree to
If you get a
Cut their
chance,
forces a
go by Dr. Joe DeMarco.
Okay.
Chiropractor. He's a lacrosse player. in
Okay.
College.
I'll recruit him to be a coach then.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, lots of luck. If we can help you, let us know.
Thank you, sirs.
Next, we have a very distinguished group of young people, the Mayor's Youth Council. Leteri?
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager, Mr. Womble. The Mayor's Youth Council is one of 27 chartered youth councils in the state of North Carolina. We have 76 members representing 10 different high schools: Charles B. Aycock, Eastern Wayne, Goldsboro, Rosewood, Southern Wayne, Spring Creek, Wayne Country Day, Wayne Christian, Wayne Early Middle, and Wayne School of Engineering. The staff and members of the Youth Council and their families are here tonight to support the seniors. They have worked diligently over the past 4 years to get to this night. The students have participated in a number of service projects throughout the year, providing Christmas gifts for children who attend Carver Heights Elementary School, the city's educational partner, play bingo with the residents of Bryan Center and Willow Creek, which is formerly Britt Haven, prepare Thanksgiving baskets for needy families, assisted in the participation of developing the soup kitchen, selling meals for them. We're preparing meals for them, sang Christmas carols, and serve ice cream and cookies to the clients at Old Barry Center. They also dressed as the Easter Bunny and hid over 3,000 eggs with recreation and parks. The last Saturday supper they participated in, which is making bags of lunches for the homeless once a month. Activities associated with Lights Up Downtown and Jingle in the Park, sponsored by Recreation and Parks. Pennies for Angels project, which is monies collected to assist the cancer patients. They also participated in the Old Barry Center golf tournament and the Buick Downtown at Halloween. They had a work session on Robert's Rules of Order with Attorney Mike Ellis. The seniors shadowed the city and county departments, including Judge David Brantley of the 8th Judicial District. Members also hosted the 37th Annual City County Human Relations Awards Banquet. They also partnership with the Wayne School of Engineering to receive $500, and they received a grant from the Governor's Mini Grant Program to prepare 35 healthy packages for Seymour Johnson Air Force Base troops overseas. For fundraising, there were 3 fundraisers held: gift wrapping at Berkeley Mall, the Easter basket sale, and providing concessions at the Berkeley Park for the Men's Softball League. The monies all total $4,394.61. Their fundraising efforts allowed the students to attend the State Youth Council Spring Convention at Shells Island, a trip to Carowinds this summer, and give $2,000 in scholarships to worthy seniors. At the State Youth Council Spring Convention, 4 candidates running for office, and one of them was a special person of ours. Andre Elliott was elected the 2012-2013 chair of the State Youth Council Spring Convention for next year. The Youth Council also won the most outstanding youth council in the state of North Carolina, and this was presented to us there. Tonight, the seniors will receive a certificate from the state of North Carolina signed by the Secretary of the Department of Administration for their outstanding accomplishments, and the City of Goldsboro will present them with the token of our appreciation. Some students are unable to attend tonight because of work schedules and other commitments. As the seniors prepare to come forward, I'd like to ask the members of the City Council if you and the City Attorney and City Manager will come down front so that we can present the students their awards. Our first student is Jim Barber from Southern Wayne, who will be attending North Carolina State University, majoring in history. Destiny Barkin from Southern Wayne, who will be attending Fayetteville State in accounting and will be receiving over $6,000 in scholarships. Alex Brendel from Wayne's Early Middle, who will be attending Norwalk University, majoring in mathematics, Air Force ROTC, and received the North Merit Scholar. Ben Coley, Charles B. Aycock, will be attending UNC Chapel Hill in journalism.
Hear that, Ty? Journalism.
Oh, he is the valedictorian of Charles B. Aycock also.
Must be dead right now.
Alexis Davila, Eastern Wayne, who will be attending Meredith in Human Resources. Teresa Holland, Rosewood High School. She will be attending Barton College in accounting. Anthony Hooks, Goldsboro High School, who will be attending Winston-Salem State University in accounting and IT. And he has received $1,000 from Winston-Salem State, the local chapter. Khadijah Huey, Goldsboro High School, who will be attending East Carolina in veterinary medicine. Nicole Jefferson, Rosewood High School, who will be attending Boston University in communications, film, and TV. Donald Keith Jones, Southern Wayne, who will be attending UNC Chapel Hill in mathematics. And he has also received money from Tri-County. Sarah Judy from Southern Wayne, East Carolina, majoring in biology and Spanish, who also received over $15,000 in scholarship. Alexia Moore, Wayne Early Middle, who will be attending UNC Chapel Hill, majoring in psychology. Anna Patucha, I think. Patuya. Dang, okay. Southern Wayne. At this time, she's undecided. She had several things that she's been thinking about. And Ashley Singer from Wayne Early Middle, who will be attending UNC Wilmington, majoring in psychology, and has received scholarships from the Key Club and UNC Wilmington. As I mentioned earlier, the students raised enough money this year to award two $500 scholarships. The winners were selected based on the following criteria: number of meetings they attended, participation in the service projects, volunteering and extracurricular activities, maintaining a minimum of 3.5 GPA, 2 letters of recommendations from principals and teachers, meeting the requirements set forth by the bylaws of the Mayor's Youth Council, and a 15-minute interview by an ad hoc committee of the Community Affairs Commission. And I think there may be a couple of them here tonight. The 2 scholarships are presented too, because the students I've looked forward to this. Bless their hearts. First one goes to Ben Coley for $500. The second $500 scholarship goes to Nicole Jefferson. The committee felt that the students had worked hard, so they wanted to give the other seniors that also participated, they wanted to give them something. So we do have a little token here of appreciation to James Barber, Wesley Grady, Alex Brendel, Teresa Holland, and Keith Jones. Ashley Stinger. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. As you return to your seats, I would like to introduce the new 2012-2013 officers. The 2012-2013 Youth Council officers are Chair Morgan Howell, Vice Chair Andre Elliott, Recording Secretary Tyree Hooks, Correspondence Secretary Anastasia Fort, Treasurer Essence Wagstaff, and Parliamentarian Baron Wise. Let's give him a hand. On behalf of the Community Affairs staff and commission, we would like to recognize and thank all the principals for early dismissals and paperwork that needed to be signed, the Community Affairs Commission and scholarship committees, and especially our parents, grandparents, and guardians that's in the audience. Please stand. Again, we'd like to thank you again for supporting the Youth Council.
Get your award.
Don't leave your award.
Don't leave your award there.
Yes.
We want to thank the Youth Council and staff of Terry and Ms. Chance for all of the hard work that you've done. I follow them quite closely. And I get an awful lot of compliments about the Mayor's Youth Council from parents and everyone. Parents are very much concerned, what can I do to get my child on the Mayor's Youth Council? And I give them the advice, talk to Terry and Sue and see what the criteria is, and it's very difficult to get on it. I do want to really appreciate all of you, because you've made the city of Goldsboro and our county proud. Each year, I've followed you for years. It's not unusual for you to be rated #1 in the state. it's reached a point now where we almost expect that. So the new class coming in, the bar's high. You got a tough job, but you can do it, and you will do it. Thank you very much. And parents, without you, these kids wouldn't be there. I know that. So thank you for all of the time and effort you put into the development of your kids. There's nothing that you could do, nothing, that's more important than that. Thanks very much. Next we have Richard Bledsoe, Goldsboro Worship Center, back to school batch. Bledsoe here. I guess he's going out with I don't think he's with everybody else.
That seems like they're in the orange shirt.
Can you get up front?
Look like Richard Slugger. What's wrong? He look like Richard Slugger. What's wrong? Oh, yeah.
Here we are. Mr. Bledsoe.
Sure.
Glad they don't walk out when I preach like that.
You were worried you were gonna walk out with them.
We thought you were going to go out with me.
Mr. Mayor, council, and gentlemen, we appreciate your time on this. We just want to make it an invitation to you again. We've done this for Goldsboro Worship Center. I am Danny Johnson, the senior pastor there at Goldsboro Worship Center. This is our head outreach minister, Richard Bledsoe. And we do an event each year called the Back to School Bash. And this is the 4th year, consecutive year we've done it. We started out with about 500 kids we've helped in the community, in the area, and this is abroad. It's no really specific area, just we make the invitation and whosoever comes until we run out. But we have other activities there, and we can share that with you too. But this year we're shooting for about 1,500 book bags. The approximate cost on this thing relatively around, I'd say anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000. This is not an event to promote Goldsboro Worship Center by any means. It's an event to help our community, the kids, give them, you know, a bit of dignity and honor going back to school with the resources. This is kind of the book bag we get. We get a great price on these, a place out of California, and we fill it full of supplies that they need from elementary on up to high school. And not only that, we provide a time where we can do some mentoring there, some counseling, and just get to know the families. It's not just handing this and go. We also provide free food that day for them, hot dogs, just a lot of fun things for the kids, blow-ups, inflatables, games, giveaways, things like that. We just provide that for them. Anyway, our presentation is just you guys are invited out there, gentlemen, and you can come, be a part of it, endorse it. We just want to let you know what we're doing. There again, we're not promoting Goldsboro Worship Center, just one specific church. We're here to help the community and on your side to better this community and make a difference. So that's where, I don't know if Brother Richard wants to share anything.
When I was passing out, I don't know if he told you, there is free haircuts for these kids.
Yes.
Colgate Bright Futures, Bright Smiles is going to be back out again this year. And they give free dental cleanings and things like that. So it's really growing. And by the way, the Captain Chirero with the Goldsboro City Police, she's going to come out or have her team come out and do a canine demonstration. And we want to thank you for allowing her to do that. Because I think that impresses and builds a relationship between the police and the kids in the community, which may help down the road. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Reaches all ethnicities, backgrounds, color, race, whoever. We just impartial. So
thank you very much for reaching out to help.
Yeah,
it's needed.
All right. Well, the invitation's yours. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
The specific dates.
August the 18th. It's in the letter from 9 to 1.
Okay.
And if you can just come, even if you can't spend the whole time, just come in and. You know,
the DVD's got a little bit of information,
yeah.
Video
what we did.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Lots of luck. Air Force Museum Master Plan Update. Mr. Murphy, Dan?
Evening, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Members of council. Very well, thank you. Pleased to be back. I'm a member of the consulting team you engaged to study the concept of an Air Force Museum at the building at Spence and Ash. And your architect and your museum planner are back there too.
I recognize some of the team back there.
I want to start by just thanking you for engaging us in this project. It's been great to be introduced to Goldsboro, and we've had terrific support from your wonderful staff, and we've met a lot of very creative and dedicated members of your community. We feel like we've been given an awful lot of good chances to learn how such a museum could serve real purpose in your community. We began work at the beginning of April. Tomorrow we'll have our third workshop session with your museum committee, and tomorrow evening and Wednesday morning we're going to have a public forum inviting community members to come and talk with them and listen to them and give them an update on what we've been doing. Looking ahead, we want to submit a draft plan to you by the end of the summer, which will be up for public comment for a period of time, and then we'll come back down here and present the conclusion of that. Just to give you kind of a midpoint report, the work that we're doing is in 4 different areas. The first is community engagement. We've had members of our team here for 51 one-on-one interviews. We've met with 17 people who are called stakeholders because of their involvement in that, and also our team met with a group of local educators and a group of local veterans. So we've had a lot of input, and what we find from that input is a great deal of commitment to this community, a great commitment to the idea of a museum and its kind of learning as being a real support for the ever-rising commitment to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math education in public schools, a very strong sense of the intertwined links and concerns of the Air Force Base and the community, and a general enthusiasm for the idea of doing something that would celebrate and strengthen that relationship. What we've found from these community meetings is that the museum is likely to be an effective tool for you all in developing tourism, in encouraging and supporting STEM education, and in strengthening the bonds of the Goldsboro community and the military community at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. The second part of what we're doing is architectural planning. It started with the building that you pointed us towards and looked at, and we feel very positive about the character of the building. It's very distinctive in the Goldsboro community. It stands out as something special. Its location is very prominent and accessible near the base. Inside, it's surprising that it wasn't built as a museum, because there's a large central atrium, which is very effective for dramatic presentations and events, good ceiling height, open space, which there was a slightly larger elevator, but it's a very sound building, which is well suited for the use as a museum. And we'll be developing and talking with the museum committee about program plans about how that space could be developed to be effective for such a purpose. The area of work that I'm involved in is the visitor experience plan. What kind of museum would this actually be? What would it be about? How would it attract and engage the public? And we've had a lot of interesting discussions about how that will and can work, but it is a very interesting thing because of the goals that we've heard from the community. Even though this will not be, it's a defined size, it has the ability to combine the best parts of a technology learning museum that supports STEM education through the story of aircraft design, flight, how things fly, how things are maintained, how the whole system of the Air Force Base and the craft they fly works from a science, technology, education, and math perspective. So we have the Technology Museum, or Science Museum, which is very family friendly, very education supportive, combined with a very strong history museum, the history of the base, history of the community, a history of the 4th Fighter Wing. There's a new fighter wing that's only got a couple weeks of history, apparently, that we'll find out about more, but 9/16. And then finally, we have a community center. So we see that there's an intersection of 3 different types of facility that overlay very, very effectively and efficiently in this space. And that's a very positive thing because we think that it helps address the needs of a lot of different audiences. The final area of work we're doing is business and operations plan and an evaluation of the capital costs and operating costs. The capital cost estimate will derive out of continuing work with the museum committee to find the right level of execution to get the museum started, but then of course perhaps even more critical, the long term of operating the museum in terms of staffing and the costs there that would be involved in that. Studying a lot of comparable museums, we've done a lot to find out what other communities of this size and larger have done with such museums and how they have used them, how they have created business plans that are sustainable. And that's something I would say that we're very committed to as a team. We don't want to just bring you a swell idea. We want to bring you an idea that grows out of this community, that can truly serve this community, and that is sustainable in the long run. So that's our goal, and as I say, we're about halfway to that goal, and have heard from many people looking forward to the community meetings in the next few days, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you all may have.
Want to just say where the community meetings are and what time again, just in case?
I'd love to, but do you have it? I have it written down. Can you say?
Well,
We're having two separate community meetings. The first one that we're going to have is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. That was going to be held in the large conference room, and the public is invited to attend. Those will begin at 7 o'clock. We want to run for maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on how attendance goes. The next meeting that we're going to have is going to be Wednesday. It's going to be at the Gertrude Will Auditorium at the Public Library, and that meeting will start at 10. And both of those are open to the public. And there have been some questions about the process and how we're going about it. And we begin the process by trying to figure out what it is that the community would like to see, so that we can have an idea of what the plan needs to be, get comment and feedback, so that we can begin looking at what's going to go inside of the museum. So we are by no means done with the process. There's still plenty of time for the public to come and share their comments, share their concerns, and the consultants will be there to listen and to take those ideas back to the larger committee that was appointed by council before any final decisions are made.
I'd just like to say what you have described and the efforts that you put into developing the Air Force Museum was earlier described as wasting taxpayers' dollars. I just want to say to those few who believe it's wasting taxpayers' dollars, I plan to devote a lot of my attention and effort toward wasting taxpayers' dollars, if that's what they call it.
These are the meetings too that some have been inquiring about, wanting to have more knowledge of the Air Force Museum and what it's all about. These are more informational type meetings too, right? To enlighten them.
The community
They will be.
Community meeting.
Yeah, I think that certainly our goal has been to listen to the community so that, as you're saying, Mr. May, this is serving real community needs. But we're also hired to do a job, so we'd like to expose people to what our process is, what we found out so far, so there's some people to respond to. We've been out on the streets and already asked people, what would you expect, what would you like? Now we'd like to be able to get to a little bit more of a formative discussion.
And this is something like probably what I guess Fayetteville will have for Fort Bragg, Jacksonville would have for Camp Lejeune, or some other military bases would have.
It'll be unique to what we can have here in Goldsboro, and to tell the story that we have of Seymour Johnson, but they have visited the museum, the Special Ops Museum. They're in Fayetteville. We've looked at some others, one there in Havelock, just to see how communities have done it. But I think that the important part of the museum here is that council wanted to see what our community wanted. When we hired the firm Verner Johnson to come in, council wanted to make sure that we talked to the folks here, that we wanted to tell the story of Seymour Johnson and how that would work in that facility that we have. So that's what we're doing, is getting that input, and we're going to share that and tell the story here. I think for the citizens, it's important to know that this is one part of the process. If for some reason folks aren't able to come to the community meetings, we're going to roll out an online survey as well in about 2 weeks or so, and that's going to run through the end of June. So there's several ways that we're trying to get input to make sure that voices are being heard as we're going through the process. But definitely the examples that people may have seen from other places they visited, the ones that you just mentioned, I think will definitely come out in these meetings.
And not every city is fortunate to have a military base.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Tasha, will you be briefing the county commissioners?
We have invited the county commissioners to attend the meetings as well. Some of them were getting input from different ways. They have not been formally involved in any of the
I would
stakeholder
suggest
meetings.
that you make a formal presentation to them.
We'll make
Like at a
contact.
meeting such as ours, that you go and just update them and know where you are.
We can contact them to do that.
I would highly encourage that.
Be pleased to do that.
Any questions?
No, I just want to thank you, all of you, for the effort you're putting into making sure we do it right. I'm very impressed with your team. Very, very much so.
Thank you.
And our local team that's working with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes our presentations, and we will go to our consent agenda.
Mayor and Council, you have items F through O, and you had removed item K from the consent agenda. So you would be approving items F through O without item K. Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further comments? If not, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Mayor King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Allen,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Hedden.
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Ward.
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. Going to items requiring individual action.
Here we have 4 of those this evening. The first, and I'd ask our finance director to come forward, is to consider our fiscal year 2012-2013 operating budget. Okay?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Item P is our budget ordinance for fiscal year 12-13. The budget ordinance must be adopted each year in order to implement the provisions of a new budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The budget ordinance reflects the decisions made by City Council during its budget reviews and discussions. The budget ordinance assures compliance with all pertinent state fiscal laws. It must show an exact balance between revenues and expenditures. The recommended budget for fiscal year 12-13 includes no increase in the tax and utility rates. In an effort to obtain self-sufficiency with the city's refuge operations, an increase is recommended in the monthly residential refuge rates of $1.25 per month. Council met with staff on several occasions to discuss the 2012-13 recommended budget. During those budget sessions, Council agreed that several adjustments should be made to that budget. The following is a listing from the general fund. Salary and payroll attrition, we increased $30,900. We reduced the centerline painting contract for $21,800. We reduced tax listing of $7,300. We included the basketball courts at Berkeley Park of $60,000. And we, in the air show donation, we moved it from the general fund to the travel and tourism fund. Arts Council donation of $25,000 was included. Wayne Opportunity, we increased their donation by $10,000, and we included a donation of $10,000 for Wayne Uplift. In the utility fund, we included Neuse River dredging of $79,000 and dredging the sedimentation basement of $70,000. In the municipal service district, we reduced the rent incentive grant program by $9,200 and the facade grant by $10,000. And we appropriated downtown projects for $19,200. In the occupancy tax fund, we included the air show donation of $30,000. With the approval of House Bill number 5 concerning the de-annexation of Phase 11, which is the effective date of July 1st, 2012, the following adjustments were made. We reduced the general fund revenues of $567,719 and the general fund expenditures of $565,076. In the utility fund, the annexation water payments was reduced by $23,061. Based on these adjustments, the fund balance withdrawal for the general fund is $67,869. Utility fund, $618,551. Occupancy tax fund, $276,892. With a total fiscal year recommended budget for all the annual adopted funds of $50,735,529. I'm asking Council tonight by motion to adopt the attached budget ordinance for fiscal year 2012-13.
Thank you. Any questions from our finance director? None? We have a recommendation.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the budget be adopted as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Now, any further discussion? comment? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried.
Thank you.
I want to thank you and your staff, Kate, for all of the hard work you've done. This was a difficult budget, but not nearly as difficult as last year. I think you feel better now than you did last year.
Yes, I do. And the departmental staff has been great. All the departments and their staff have worked very hard to help with this document, and I do thank them a lot, especially finance staff and all of those. They've helped a whole lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mayor and council, I would mention as well, I've been through a lot of budgets and have done a lot of the work. This year, Carrie carried the load, her and her staff, and made my job significantly easier. So I do want to thank her and her staff for that as well.
Thank you, Scott.
We do have 3 other action agenda items. They're all under planning, and I'll turn it over to Randy, our Development Services Director.
Mm-hmm.
Item Q is a conditional use request, CU-9-12, request by Brandon Buchem. Property on the west side of North Berkeley Boulevard between Royal Avenue and Highway 70 East. This is the subject property here. It's known as Berkeley Junction Shopping Center. This is Berkeley Boulevard, Royal Avenue, and this is Highway 70 right here. Here's the on-ramp off Berkeley onto the highway. The applicant requests a conditional use permit to allow the operation of an internet cafe, electronic gaming operation. Proposed use to be located in one unit within the Berkeley Junction Shopping Center. It's this unit shown here in the highlighted pattern right there. Unit has a width of 25 feet, a depth of 70 feet, and a total area of 1,750 square feet. Internet cafes or / sweepstakes facilities are permitted within the general business zoning district as a conditional use, provided they meet all ordinance standards. The parking requirement for internet cafe facilities is 2 spaces per computer and 1 space per employee. Based on 50 computers and 3 employees, a total of 103 parking spaces are required for the use. A recent parking survey was conducted for the site and the existing uses, and it was discovered that there is not ample parking on site to serve the existing uses or the proposed use. A modification of the parking requirement from paid parking spaces to 0 spaces would be required for this particular use. There's also an existing church located on this property, located approximately right here, which would require a modification of the 200-foot spacing requirement. We require it to be 200 feet from property line to property line, and this is located on the same property, and we need a modification of that spacing requirement. At the public hearing held on May 21st, 2012, no one appeared to speak either for or against the request. The Planning Commission, in their meeting held on May 29th, 2012, recommend denial of this request for a conditional use permit to allow the operation of an internet cafe. They felt that based upon the existing uses within the shopping center, there's insufficient parking available to support the use, and that the location in close proximity to the Bridge Church within the shopping center was not appropriate.
Any questions before to Randy, before we? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the recommendation of the Planning Commission and deny the request.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Now, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion's carried. Item's denied.
Next item, item R, is a rezoning request. It's case Z-6-12. It's a request by Cosimo Santoro. It's property located on the south side of East Ash Street. This is the property shown here in the hatched pattern. On East Ash Street between Meadow Road, which is located up here, and Carriage Road, located right here. Carriage is here, Meadow Road. This is East Ash Street here. Highway 70 shown right there. There's the subject property. It's about 38,500 square feet, has a frontage of 175 feet, and a depth of 220 feet. The request is to rezone the property from R12 Residential Conditional District to Neighborhood Business Conditional District to allow a sit-down restaurant or retail store on the property. Property is located in the 65 to 70 decibel noise overlay zone associated with Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Once again, the subject property is shown here as R12 Conditional District. Property to the west, south, and east here shown in the yellowish color is zone R20. Property to the north in this kind of pinkish color is highway business. Property across Highway 70 shown in red is general business. You also have some general business shown here off of Carriage Road. Looking at the city's existing comprehensive land use plan, it calls for commercial development along East Ash Street here, industrial across Highway 70. You have a little portion of major office located to the northwest here, and existing residential for the adjoining neighborhood to this subject property. This is a picture of the property right here, located off East Ash Street. A protest petition has been submitted, which is signed by an owner located to the rear of the subject property, which constitutes 7.2% of the land area on the sides and rear of the property. This would, under state law, make this a valid protest petition that would require that 6 out of 7 council members vote affirmatively in order to approve this request. At the public hearing held on May 21st, 1 person spoke in favor of the request, 2 people spoke in opposition. The Planning Commission, their meeting held on May 29th, recommended approval of the zoning change. They acknowledged the ingress and egress for the property would be difficult. However, prior to development, site plans would have to be submitted and reviewed, and at that time, they would address matters of ingress and egress and could address the design and layout of the property. Happy to answer questions.
Any discussion, comments from Randy? If not, we have a recommendation.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we go against the planning commission and deny this request.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Final item on the agenda for individual action is item S, which involves street name changes for portions of Tommy's Road and North William Street. As a result of the opening of the section of the Goldsboro bypass between Wayne Memorial Drive and I-795, portions of Tommy's Road and North William Street were bisected, which necessitated the renaming of these new sections. In January 2012, the staff mailed letters out to owners of properties which are adjacent to these street sections and solicited their input regarding the name changes as to their preference for particular names. Several proposed road names were submitted and suggested, and the staff investigated these to make sure that they were not already utilized or duplicated in Wayne County. Based upon this, the information we got, the original request when we went to public hearing recommended this portion of Tommy's Road here from essentially Patetown west to where it terminates. The neighborhood had requested Noville Hill Road. For the portion here from the new portion of William Street eastward to the termination was recommended for Cherry Cola Lane or Crumpler Lane. For this little portion here from essentially the old portion of William Street to the new portion of William Street, the family had recommended Lila Lane or Wiley Andrews Lane. And for this portion of old William Street located right here between Industry Court and Belfast Road, the recommendation was Carolina Commerce Drive. At the public hearing held on May 21st, 3 people spoke in opposition to changing the name of any section of Tommy's Road, and 1 person spoke of changing the name of the western portion of Tommy's Road to Cherry Cola Lane. 1 person spoke in favor of changing the name of a portion of North William Street to Carolina Commerce Drive. The Planning Commission, after receiving inputs from the county's planning director on consistency with the county's 911 addressing policy, reviewed the proposals individually and recommended the following name changes. For the portion of Tommy's Road here from essentially Patetown Road westward to the termination, they recommended no change. They felt that would be consistent and still be safe because it was at least connected to the existing portion of Tommy's Road. From this portion here, from the terminus westward to essentially the new portion of William Street, it was recommended ultimately to go with the name of West Tommy's Road. That way it essentially would, it's disconnected, but the West Tommy's Road would still keep the Tommy's Road identity, but give it a little different distinction, so if someone called 911, they'd be able to track it. They also included that for this portion here from the old portion of William Street to the new portion of William Street, so essentially from here all the way eastward will be recommended for West Tommy's Road, and then they followed through with the recommendation of the area to give this old portion of William Street from essentially Industry Court to Belfast Road the name of Carolina Commerce Drive. In all cases, the Planning Commission recommended the existing numeric addresses be retained and not changed. But essentially, Planning Commission, leave this as is, name from here to essentially all the way over to the old portion of William Street as West Tommy's Road, and then this portion here, Carolina Commerce Drive.
Any comment or information for Randy?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the recommendations of the Planning Commission, Thomas Road, West Thomas Road, and Commercial, what's the name of that? Carolina Commerce Drive.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Now, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion's carried. Mr. Manager, I guess that pretty much takes care of items requiring anything to
It does, Mayor.
So we'll go to the manager's report.
The other thing I would mention this evening, our League of Municipalities is hosting Town Hall Day this Wednesday, June 6th, so a number of us will be participating in that from around 10 o'clock to 2. If any council or others are interested in participating, if they call our office tomorrow, we'll try to arrange that for them. But again, our legislators are not feeling great towards cities, and we just want to go up there and remind them that we do, in fact, make a difference in North Carolina and that we're real people too. So that's really the intent of, I think, Wednesday's event in Raleigh.
Well, I'm gonna be up there for a long time. You and a number of us we'll do what we can. That's all we can do.
That's all
Is
I
that
have,
it?
Mayor. That's it.
Mr. Attorney?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mayor and council report. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, a couple things, Mayor. The first one, I just want to congratulate the Mayor's Youth Council again. It was really a group of good-looking young kids, and I know we expect a lot from them in the future, so that was a good thing. Secondly, as everybody knows, in the Air Force world, things change and change often, I guess, but we recently said goodbye to Colonel Doherty and his family, and they were really, really a good Goldsboro, Seymour Johnson family. They did a lot of really good things. But in the change, we welcome Colonel Levitt and her family, and I think if anybody in the Air Force knows, she's got a pedigree to match what being a commander at Seymour Johnson is. So we look forward to having her and her family here. I think it's going to be a really good 2 years, and think we'll get some good things done and keep the Seymour Johnson torch lit. And on a good note, also, recently, something we've known for a while that got to be public this past week was the announcement of Harris Teeter. So I think two things, despite what my good friend Mr. Jeanette says, there are some good things happening to Goldsboro, and we are like to see that happen. And I really want to thank the Chamber, the Development Alliance, the city staff, the county staff. This didn't just happen. A lot of people worked on this. Mr. Ed Borden got the president of Ruddock, Harris Teeter, to come down here. The commander of the base at the time, Colonel Doherty, took him on the base, showed him around the base, him and his group. And a lot of people, Randy's staff, all just worked really hard, and so we finally got it done. And so we welcome them, and we appreciate everybody working towards that. And we know there's 2 or 3 more entities that we don't have, but we're working on them too. So just want to make those announcements.
Harris Teeter, it was a team effort, and the citizens I talked to are really looking forward to getting Harris Teeter here. A lot of them couldn't believe they were coming. But that'll show you what we can do when we all try and head in the same direction. Is that it?
That's it.
Michael?
Just to follow up, just like to compliment the Mayor's Youth Council. That was a wonderful group of young people who were awarded tonight. And I also want to mention last week's Center Street Jam, which was our military appreciation jam. Had a nice turnout there. Weather held up for us, which was good. And just asking all the citizens to understand that this is not an easy job for any of us sitting up here. We do the very best we can, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But by and large, our hearts are in the right places. We're trying to do what's in the best interest of all the citizens here in Wayne County.
Thank you. Bob?
I too want to commend the young students that were here, and they got a bright future, seemed like every one of them.
Yeah,
and there's, talking about students, there's a group from Charles B. Aycock that just won a state softball championship.
Really?
The girls won the state.
Girls?
3A. And you know, that's outstanding when you win the state. And maybe we could have them here if they would like to come. I'd love to see them if we could.
If we could together.
Yeah. If Melissa would call them.
Thank you.
That's it.
Don?
I too would like to congratulate the Mayor's Youth Council, Mr. Mayor, and also the Community Affairs staff. It took a lot of long days and a lot of hours. Of course, each year, like you said, the bar is set high, and they either meet or exceed it each year.
So they will, you're absolutely right.
So just good luck to them in the future. That's all I have.
Okay. Charles?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to echo what has been said by my fellow councilman about Terry Ward and her staff working with the Mayor's Youth Council, and want to commend her. I want to also commend Pastor Danny Johnson for his church's back to school program. And lastly, I would like to inform the citizens of Goldsboro, July 17th, next city council election, all those who voted May 8th must go back again, do it again. July 17th.
That it, Rick?
That's it.
Okay. Jackie?
I too want to congratulate all the seniors, and one other thing, there was a comment made earlier in the citizens portion that I did not appreciate. From a veteran to a veteran. I look up here on this panel and there's only 2 of us up here that are veterans. And I want him to know that I appreciate Mayor King as a veteran and myself as a veteran, and I do not appreciate him making a comment about that. That's it.
I just consider the source and move on. I would like to again give my personal thanks and appreciation to our staff for the work they do with the Mayor's Youth Council, and they put in an awful lot of hours. And I meet with them when I can. They're extremely, extremely bright, inquisitive young people, and they will be successful. They are our future, and all of us sitting here played a vital role in helping in their development. I want to thank our city council for your support of them and their efforts. And again, I want to welcome our new wing commander, our first female fighter wing commander, period. We're expecting great things from her, and we will get it. I spent a lot of time with her and her family. She has an extended family. And boy, they were here all the way from Alaska to St. Louis, and she really had an awful lot of support from her family members, and that's a good thing. So I encourage all of you, if you get a chance to meet her, do so, and let her know how much you appreciate her, and welcome her to our great city. We're going to be proud of our new wing commander. We are now. If there's nothing else to come before us, we stand adjourned.
Mr. Mayor, I'll be gone the rest of this week. I'll be out of town the rest of this week.
Okay.
We'll do that out.
Every shot is in your face.